Hey guys, welcome to the Essential Astrocast. I'm so glad to be back. I just finished a recording for my girls in the Luminary League. So if you are unfamiliar, I have a group that gets some extra content from me every month, as well as a full moon live online workshop. So if you're interested in that, go to my website, veronicapreti.com/luminary league. And it's $25 a month, and you get a new moon Astrocast video, as well as prompts for the new moon, journal prompts, and a full workshop for the full moon, which is really so much fun. So I wanted to lead with that today just because I hopped off the recording for them and it was really good this month. So if you feel like this new moon is really potent for you, you feel like there's some really big stuff that you're releasing and some really big life shifts happening for you right now, then you definitely want to jump into the Luminary League and get that new moon content. I'll talk a little bit about it right now. We had a new moon this yesterday, Sunday. I'm recording this on Monday, the 24th of February. So we had the new moon in Pisces on Sunday morning, the 23rd of February. So it was at 10:32 a.m. Eastern time. And the new moon was in a really nice harmonious conversation with Mars in Capricorn and the North Node. And therefore, this new moon is a really, really powerful time to plant your seeds for what you want to create in your life. I know we're always talking about our dreams and what we want and our goals, but truthfully, Pisces rules dreams. Pisces rules all the things that we can't see. It's the spirit realm. It's where our soul lives. It's the stuff that we can't touch. And we can't see with the naked eye. It's the stuff that we can feel with our intuition. And so when we talk about our dreams for our life, sometimes we might be talking about something small like getting a new job. That doesn't seem small, but it's small in the grand scheme of who you are as a soul on this path, in this lifetime, in this incarnation. So this is really about the dreams for your life, for your soul, for your being, for your growth, for your evolution. And all the planets are really conspiring to work with you at this new moon. They're always conspiring to work with you, but sometimes they're putting us through some really tough lessons. So there are some tough lessons going on. So right now we have this brilliant new moon energy that we're working with, but we also have the new moon very close to Mercury retrograde. So Mercury is retrograde in the sign of Pisces as well. We have 4 planets in Pisces: the sun, the moon, Mercury, and Neptune, its ruler, Pisces ruler. So the 4 planets sitting out in Pisces are really bringing our attention to our emotional life, to the part of us that is not always at the forefront. So a lot of the times when we talk about emotions, Pisces and Scorpio might sound similar, but they're not, because Scorpio is often the emotion that we know is there, but we're hiding in the closet and we don't want to deal with. Pisces is emotion that sometimes surprises us. So there are issues that we maybe feel like we had already conquered, or there are issues that we actually didn't even know were there that start to surface, especially when we have Mercury in Pisces. So Mercury retrograde in Pisces basically brings our mind to all of the emotional stuff that has been hidden beneath the surface. So if you feel like you're really emotional and you're not sure why, then it's definitely because we have a stellium of 4 planets in Pisces. Stellium means there's 3 or more planets in a sign, or 3 or more planets in a house. So we have 4 planets in Pisces, but we also have Mercury retrograde in Pisces. So our mind is being drawn to the memories that have emotion attached to it. So for me personally, I've noticed that so many childhood memories are coming up for me right now. I've also noticed that my memories are being jogged about things that I just hadn't thought about in a super long time. So that could be happening for you. You also could be having just emotional responses that you're not expecting. I shared on Instagram stories yesterday that I saw this amazing feature on Bob of Bob's Red Mill, the grains that you buy in the health food store and the grocery store now. He's everywhere. And he's 91 and he's the founder. And I was like on the verge of tears because I was so moved by his work ethic and what he's built and how he treats his employees. He's giving his company away to his employees. And I just was just so moved by the whole thing. And so it's like the tears hit you at moments when you're least expecting it, when we have a lot of planets in Pisces. So we've got the new moon vibes. And again, while this is a really potent time to plant your seeds for what you want to create, it feels kind of heavy because we have a lot of water in the sky, Pisces, and we have a lot of Earth in the sky, Capricorn. So while we have a stellium of planets in Pisces, we have a stellium of planets in Capricorn. And while they are working together nicely to help you create something, it's not so clear because Mercury is retrograde. Pisces rules the fog, it rules the haze. You know, today in New York, it's 60 degrees, which is so weird. Talk about being in unknown territory. Pisces rules the things that are unknown to us. And this weather has been so, so, so warm. And it's very funny because Pisces rules that last bit of the dregs of winter, right? So it's the transitional sign between the dregs of winter and the beginning of spring, which is Aries season. So this is really a time to go inward and reflect on the year that was, the zodiac year, because the zodiac starts with Aries and ends with Pisces. Pisces rules all things that are ending. So you might feel that you are ending a lot of things in your life right now. You might notice that a lot of people are leaving this realm right now. Endings are up for the course right now. Like we're all feeling some things are ending, and it might not be a tangible thing like a person leaving your life, but it might be like there's a habit or a belief that you have that's holding you back and you're finally like, this is the time to let it go. You know, it's interesting because winter in general is a time of shedding, of, you know, getting back to simplicity in a lot of ways before we bloom in spring. So it's very funny because we're having this very early spring in New York. It feels like it's been the 50s and 60s for a few days now. And we're not having like that proper emotional response of, let me turn inward and reflect. It's like, oh my God, I should be out in the world doing things because it's sunny and it's beautiful. But then we have this very funny, then we have this like air quality thing today. Like the air quality wasn't healthy for sensitive groups because I'm sure it has something to do with the haze and whatever, because we're not supposed to be having these temperatures. I'm not a meteorologist. I'm not here to talk about that. But I think that's so interesting because it's been really sunny and beautiful, but it was also hazy. And that's very Neptunian. That's very Piscean. This feeling of, I have the dream, I have the vision of my highest self. I want to be that person, but it's not so clear what the next step is for me to take. So you might be feeling right now like you're not sure what the next right step is for you. And because Mercury is retrograde, it's really hard for you to trust and have faith in the next right step because you don't really know what's coming. It feels a little bit like we're working in, it's like we're doing work and we're in the fog and we just can't see what's in front of us. It's like when you're driving in the fog and it's just scary. It's scary to be in the unknown. So a lot of people are having anxiety or control issues coming up, because we have this feeling of we are operating in the unknown. We're operating in a state of being that is unclear. And human beings, by and large, we are comfortable when things are known. We are comfortable when we know what to expect. That's why we like routine. That's why many people might rebel against structure, but at the end of the day, structure is really satisfying for us as human beings, right? So we have a lot of Capricorn, and that's giving us some structure. The thing is, Earth and water, what does that make? Mud. Mud is heavy. If you've ever worn rain boots and trudged through mud, you know how difficult that is. That is how we're feeling right now. So if you are feeling like I am trudging through mud and I don't know when this is going to end, please stay the course and find ways to bolster yourself up. And if that means you need to take a break, take a break. If that means that you need to get some exercise, get some exercise. If that means that you need to escape for a few hours and watch something really good on Netflix, go do that, especially if you need a good cry. I recently watched Cheer. I'm obsessed with it on Netflix. It's so good. It is totally worthwhile of 6 hours or so of escapism. It is inspiring and you'll laugh, you'll cry, you'll love it. I'm sure you've heard it from lots of people, but it's perfect for this time of year when we all feel like we need the release of a good cry, but we're not even sure why we want to cry, but we do. So that's perfect if that's what you're looking for. And the thing about this mud is that it's really fertile soil for planting what you want to grow in the spring or in the summer or even in the fall. I always tell my girls in the Luminary League, like, the new moon is not only about this moon cycle. Whenever you're talking about the new moon, we're also talking about the full moon that's coming in 6 months. So think about, who do you want to be in 6 months? And when you think about who you want to be in 6 months, what do you have to do to prepare now to be that person? So that's something I want you to think on, especially if you haven't done your new moon ritual yet this week. Then you might consider doing your new moon ritual in the next couple of days. You can still do it. You can always do it up until the full moon. And if you haven't done some releasing, this is a powerful time for release because Pisces does rule endings. So if there are any doubts or fears that you're having, this is a really, really good time for you to work on releasing those doubts and fears that are getting in your way of getting where you want to go. So that's another thing to consider. So let's get into the week a little bit. Today we're in those new moon vibes. We still have the moon in Pisces. Tomorrow we're going to have, the moon move into Aries tomorrow, and the moon is going to actually, Mars rules Aries. Mars is going to dive into the South Node. So tomorrow is Mardi Gras, Fat Tuesday. Tuesday is the day of Mars. And with this Mars going into the South Node, it's going to be a really powerful day to let go of something. Maybe let go of a dream you had, let go of something that's holding you back, let go of a person or thing that is just not jiving with who you are and where you are right now. It might be dramatic. Mars can be dramatic, especially right now. Mars is in Capricorn. He's exalted. He's also out of bounds. So he's just really feeling Marsy. He's feeling himself. So Mars dives into the South Node. It's a wonderful opportunity to release. It only happens every 2 years. It's not going to be particularly long lasting, but if there's something on your mind that you've been wanting to let go of, tomorrow is a great day to do it. The other thing is that, Mars is also in conversation with Chiron, which is the wounded healer. So that rules our childhood wounds, especially here where he is in Aries, which is also Mars ruled. So, there's a lot of Mars energy this week because we got a lot of Aries stuff going on, and Mars going into the South Node as well. And so what I want to say about that is that if you have any doubts or fears or feelings that you have to prove yourself or feelings of not being worthy or not being good enough, this is a week to let go of those. This is a week to say, enough. It's not real. And I was reminded the other day of the acronym for FEAR, which is false evidence appearing real. And I might have mentioned it last week on the Astrocast because it's really working for me lately. And, if there is false evidence appearing real to you, this is a great week to let go of that. Mercury is retrograde. So Mercury is retrograde in Pisces, illuminating things that you may not have seen that are holding you back. It's illuminating messages from your intuitive self and your higher self and your guides that maybe you haven't been able to hear before. So really tune in, give yourself time to be quiet, do the work, sit down with your journal and write out, like, what do I need to release? What am I holding on to that's not serving me? Where am I holding on to fears and doubts that maybe aren't true? So that's something to consider this week, especially on Tuesday. We also have the sun meeting up with Mercury retrograde, which is going to illuminate those messages, especially any intuitive messages coming through. It's also going to help the ideas flow. So that is Tuesday. Tuesday is a big day this week. Okay, and then on Wednesday, it's going to be Ash Wednesday. So we have this whole theme of letting go of the doubts and fears this week. And then, of course, we have Ash Wednesday, which is the Catholic day of letting go of something you love for 40 days. So if there's something you love that maybe isn't good for you, then this is a great inspiration to let it go for maybe 40 days. Give it a try. So that's on Wednesday, and Mercury is going to be talking to Mars, and that can make us really quick on our feet. We think on our feet. We're really quick-witted when Mercury and Mars get together. But the thing is, Mercury sextile Mars, it also, because Mercury is retrograde and Mars is out of bounds, my kitty wants to say hi, you might notice that you need to pause so you don't say something you don't want to say. So on Wednesday, really pause before you speak and allow yourself to really take a moment before you respond, because you don't want to respond in a way that is not helpful to your cause. On Thursday, the moon is going to conjunct Venus in Aries. So the moon is going to actually move into, the moon is going to be in Aries for a few days. And when the moon and Venus get together in Aries, Venus is in Aries right now and she's a little angry. She's a little unhappy. She doesn't really like to be in Aries. She's a little bit restless. So when the moon and Aries get together, you might be feeling a little bit restless on Thursday. The moon in Aries is going to square all those Capricorn planets as well. So the moon in Aries is basically like shining a flashlight on all those Capricorn planets and asking them where they've been. So this is a little bit, we're having a big foreshadowing of what we're going to be experiencing in the summer when Mars in Aries squares all the Capricorn planets. So something I mentioned today for my Luminary League girls is that this new moon this week, it heralds in a time, this lunar cycle of this next 28 to 30 days, we're going to have a totally different vibe happening a month from now. So Saturn is going to go into Aquarius on March 21st after the spring equinox. Sun will go into Aries in the spring equinox. Saturn will go into Aquarius. And then we'll be working with a lot more air in the sky. So air kind of brings the thinking to the party. Saturn in Aquarius is going to change what we're working on. We've been working on something for over 2 years with this Saturn and Capricorn energy. So now when Saturn goes into Aquarius, we're going to be working on something entirely new. And that's coming at the end of this next, not even 30 days. So really be specific and as clear as you possibly can. I know you have to be clear in this unclear world that we're living in with Mercury retrograde in Pisces, but be clear and specific with the seeds that you plant right now. Because we are starting a new chapter before the end of this lunar cycle. So this is a very potent new moon to set an intention for what you want to release and set an intention for what you want to bring in. Okay, so we're having this foreshadow of Mars is going to square those Capricorn guys, particularly Pluto. Mars is going to be squaring Pluto 3 times in the second half of this year. So that is pretty major, and that indicates pretty big power struggles. So you want to make sure that you're paying attention to what's coming up this week so that you can prepare yourself for what you may be experiencing later this year. Venus is going to square Pluto on Friday. She's sort of really the big indicator of how that Mars square Pluto is going to feel later this year, but Venus, again, is a lot softer than Mars. So Venus is in Aries. She's going to be squaring Pluto. It can make us very passionate. It can enliven us. It can also bring some sense of power struggle in your relationships. So just being aware of that. And this is the same day that we're going to have the moon conjunct Uranus and Mercury sextile Uranus. So we're going to have unexpected ideas and a lot of creative flow. Venus and Pluto is also creative. So if you've got some creative work to do, Friday is a really good day to do it. On Saturday, the moon is going to sextile Neptune and trine Jupiter. And this is a great day because now the moon is going to be in Taurus. So the moon moves into Taurus on Friday, and then on Saturday, we're going to have the moon in Taurus working in a really nice way with Neptune and Jupiter. Neptune and Jupiter, they hold our ideals, our values, our dreams, our sense of faith. So this is going to be a really good day. Moon in Taurus is really... the moon in Taurus really likes to make things manifest, bring them into the earth plane. So if you've been having trouble doing that, Saturday might be a good day to do some work. And then Sunday, the moon in Taurus is going to be trining Pluto and Saturn, which is something that's going on. You know, Saturn and Pluto have been so close together, and they will remain pretty close together. And they've been really close together in Capricorn. Of course, Saturn will move into Aquarius within a month's time, but they're still going to remain fairly close together. So the moon is going to touch them on the same day, roughly every month at different angles. So whenever the moon comes in contact with those guys, the work and the stuff that started on January 12th, January 12th, when Saturn and Pluto came together for that big conjunction that we talked about a ton over the past few months. Every month when the moon moves through the horoscope and touches Saturn and Pluto, we're getting a little bit of a reminder of like, what's the thing we're working on? What's the task at hand? What am I growing? Where am I evolving? Where's my attention and energy supposed to be? And the moon's kind of just nudging us and reminding us every time he talks to those planets. And the moon's going to move into Gemini at 10:52 a.m. on Sunday. So that those meetings are going to happen early in the morning. And then Sunday is going to be Sunday afternoon. It's going to be great for if you do want to like go out with friends and talk. The moon will be in Gemini, and we'll all be a little bit more talkative. This week we have moon in Pisces, moon in Aries, moon in Taurus, and then very end of Sunday, moon in Gemini. But Pisces is endings, Aries is beginnings, Taurus is making things manifest in the earth plane. So this is a really, really, really good week to get clear with what you're creating, what you want to be creating, what's stopping you from being able to create it so you can release that thing, because Mars is going to dive into the South Node and say, hey, we're letting this go for good. So get really clear with yourself. And if there's fears and doubts that are holding you back from doing whatever it is that you want to do, whether it's dating or starting a business or, building a house or whatever it is, starting a new workout regimen, going for a walk every day, it could be something simple. If there's some fears or doubts or feelings of unworthiness that are coming up, this is a great week to heal them, a great week to let them go, a great week for you to say, no, that's not real. I'm going to be here with what's real, not with my ideas that have been holding me back that are not founded in reality. That's all I think I want to say for the week. It's a really powerful time to plant your seeds. It's a really powerful time to set your dreams into motion, even if you don't know what the next right step is. Just writing it down on a piece of paper, writing it down in your journal, it's going to be enough. Just putting that stake in the ground for yourself. You don't even have to tell anyone, because all of this Pisces energy is so much about our communication with the spirit realm, our communication with the things that we can't see, our communication with our intuitive self, our highest self, however you want to coin that. I want you to get clear with that this week. And if you don't spend any time journaling or in meditation or doing any spiritual practice, you might want to find one that works for you this week, because we do have another 3 weeks or so in Pisces season. It's a really good time to find something that is comforting and healing for you. All right. So that's all I've got for you this week. If you have any questions, you know where to find me. You can always DM me on Instagram. I love to hang out there a little too much. And you can always message me or email me through my website, veronicapreti.com as well. All right. Have an awesome week, and I will talk to you guys soon.